When we look at the history, there are many words spoken by God which we don't understand the meaning of. From our perspective, it seems like B is better than A and C is better than B. However, God tells us to go to A. Although small is the gate and narrow the road that only a few find it, we come to realize that it is the path that leads to life. This is the path we must take. Let us take a look at Deuteronomy chapter 8. Even during the 40-year journey in the desert, God's words, "You do not realize it now, but later you will understand," are being fulfilled. Let us look at chapter 8, verse 1. "Be careful to follow every command I am giving you today, so that you may live and increase and may enter and possess the land the Lord promised on oath to your ancestors. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. He humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Your clothes did not wear out, and your feet did not swell during these 40 years. Know then in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so the Lord your God disciplines you. Observe the commands of the Lord your God, walking in obedience to him and revering him." Let us see what the will of God was in leading the people through the desert for 40 years. Why did God lead them to the path where, even at times, they did not get to eat or drink? Let us see verse 16. "He gave you manna to eat in the wilderness, something your ancestors had never known, to humble and test you, so that in the end, what was the will of God? It might go well with you." Since there is no water to drink or to feed the livestock, it may seem like a great disaster or hardship will come immediately. However, God is always there at every moment and watches over the situation. God watches what kind of faith we have in each situation. By testing and refining us, God has a great and profound will to give us blessings in the end. During our life on this earth, we may face financial difficulties, pain from diseases, inconveniences in various undesirable environments, and many more. I don't think there is a single person on this earth who lives without them. Isn't this earth the city of refuge? No one is at ease while living in the city of refuge. We should remember this fact. It is wrong to think, that person has a better life than me. When we put ourselves in their shoes, we will find out that the other person also has difficulties, pain, and suffering. There is no one on this earth who lives like a princess in a fairy tale. Now, we are living with anxieties and worries. But what will God give us in the end after leading us in this way? God has a great and profound purpose in giving us blessings. Thus, we need to understand His will and overcome the temporary hardships we are going through. If Joseph had not come to Egypt, the nation of Israel would not have been formed. It was God's great providence. Joseph just carried out a part of God's plan, fulfilling His will. Joseph indeed lived a very turbulent life. When he faced difficulties, he felt that it was unfair at the moment. In his perspective, he was doing well, while others seemed to be lacking. However, later he realized that God was leading him at every moment. Today, too, we do not know what kind of things are going to happen before us. we must absolutely believe that God is leading us to the path where we can receive blessings. Everyone, we must realize this by reading the Bible.